Yes, so welcome to my channel, and today uh, I will be sharing my knowledge on the topic human reproduction. I will I will explain this chapter line by line from NCRT. So in this introductory para, there's nothing much written. They have just made us familiar with the major events that take place during the human reproduction. What are the major, the points? What are the major steps? Okay, so like first of all, what happens? First of all, happens gametogenesis. Now, what is gametogenesis? Both in male and female, this occurs. Formation of gametes is known as gametogenesis. In females, gametogenesis is known as oogenesis because in females ovum or egg is formed, and in males the gametogenesis is known as spermatogenesis because male gamete is sperm, and formation of male gamete, that is sperm, is known as spermatogenesis. Yes, so the first step is gametogenesis. Now afterwards, when the gametes are formed, okay, now what happens if coitus happens between male and female? Then transfer of gametes occurs. Now, what is the way of transfer of gametes? So the gametes gets transferred from male body to female body. Okay, and this process is known as insemination. Okay, insemination means transfer of gametes. Now, after this step, now the gametes have transferred into the female body. Now what happens? The male gametes meets the female gamete, okay, and the fertilization occurs. Now what is fertilization? When the male gametes meets the female gametes, they form zygote, okay, and this process, that is the formation of zygote, is known as fertilization. So till now three steps we studied, that is first of all gametogenesis, after that insemination, that is the transfer of gametes, and the third one is fertilization, that is meeting of male gamete and female gamete. Now what happens as zygote have formed? uh, Now this zygote then attaches to mother's uterine wall, the female's uterine wall, okay, and this step is known as implantation. Okay, implantation means attachment of the zygote, which have now grown into a blastocyst, development of blastocyst. What is blastocyst? I'll tell you later. That attaches to mother's uterine wall, and this step is known as uh, implantation. After that, what happens? uh, Now after attachment, that zygote grows and develops, and this growing and developing step is known as gestation. Then when the baby has grown fully, it's time of its delivery, and that is known as parturition. Okay, so these are some of the steps, major events, okay, major events in human reproduction. Now what happens? uh, this which the first step, which is gametogenesis. So in female, as I told you, that gametogenesis is oogenesis. So in female, when the female is an embryo in her mother's womb, at that time only the oogenesis begins. Okay, from that time till the age of almost 50 years, the oogenesis continues. Okay, and at the age of around 50 years, the oogenesis stops, and that period is known as menopause. But that's not the same case in males. In males, the gametogenesis or spermatogenesis starts occurring at the age of puberty, and it continues till the old age. Okay, so that's the difference between the gametogenesis, major difference between the gametogenesis between male and female. So that was all there in the introductory part. Now let's move to the male reproductive system. So in male reproductive system, what are the major organs we have, or the major parts we have, okay, in the system. So those are the testes, the accessory ducts, glands, and the external genitalia. And one more important thing, that the male reproductive system's location. This may be asked in 1 mark question, even in 2 mark questions, because locations are very important. Okay, so the male reproductive system is located in the pelvis region. Okay, the pelvis region. Mark my words, the pelvis region. And what are the major parts? Those are the testes, accessory glands, ducts, and external genitalia. Now, one more thing. Testes are usually, testes are not usually, testes are always situated outside the abdominal cavity. Means they are not inside the male's body, they are outside the male's body. Okay, protected in a pouch called scrotum. Now, why this testes are located outside the abdominal cavity? Because inside the testes, spermatogenesis takes place. And what is the requirement of spermatogenesis? Spermatogenesis requires temperature lower than the normal body temperature. How much lower? 2 to 2.5 degrees Celsius lower than the normal body temperature. Okay, so scrotum is a protective pouch which carries the pair of testes, and the testes are located outside the body because inside it spermatogenesis takes place, which requires temperature less than normal body temperature. Yes, so what now next thing is, in adults each testes is oval. Yes, now here some of the measurements of the testes are given. That is, the length of the testes is about 4 to 5 centimeter, the width is about 2 to 3 centimeter. Okay, then the testes, okay, see, length is 4 to 5, width is 2 to 3. Now what is another information about testes is, the whole testes, okay, it's covered by a dense covering. Means the testes is has lots of covering, not lots of, dense covering there is there, it's there in this testes. And one of its layer, that is tunica albugina, this is an extra information. Tunica albugina, one of its layer, like divides the whole testes into 250 compartments. Okay, these 250 compartments, the compartments are known as testicular lobules. Okay, in each compartment there are 3 seminiferous tubules present, and inside the seminiferous tubule, okay, in this seminiferous tubule the sperms are formed, okay, are produced. So see, one testy, it's one of its layer, that is tunica albugina, divides the whole testy into this 250 compartments. Okay, these compartments are called testicular lobules. Okay, each of this compartment has 1 to 3 seminiferous tubules, inside which sperms are produced. Okay, these seminiferous tubules are lined by two types of cells. Okay, like lined by two types of cells, and these cells are the male germ cell, which is also known as spermatogonia, and Sertoli cells. These are also known as nurse cell. Okay, the male germ cells undergo meiotic division. The germ cells undergo meiotic divisions to finally form sperms or spermatozoa, while the Sertoli cells or the nurse cells provides nourishment and nutrition to the germ cells. Okay. Now the region which is between the Sertoli cells and the testicular lobules, that is the region outside, not Sertoli cells, seminiferous tubules and this testicular lobules, the region between them, that is region which is the outer side of the seminiferous tubule, it is known as interstitial space. And this interstitial space also contains cells. Okay, they also contains blood vessels. What cells are there? Interstitial cells. These are also known as Leydig cells, which is responsible for the synthesis of the testicular hormone known as androgen. Okay, then other immunologically competent cell. What is immunologically competent cells? Means it will act as an immune cell like WBC. Okay, these are also present. So this was all the information about testes. After this we have the accessory ducts. Okay, the male sex accessory ducts. So these includes the vasa efferentia, rete testis, epididymis and vas deferens. So inside the testes only, what happens that the seminiferous tubules, okay, they open into vasa efferentia through rete testis. Means through rete testis, the seminiferous tubules through rete testis opens into vasa efferentia. Okay, then the vasa efferentia leaves the testis and opens into epididymis on the posterior surface. Epididymis, location of epididymis on the posterior surface of the each testis, posterior surface. Okay, then what happens that the epididymis leads to the vas deferens, which loops over the urinary bladder, okay, and then it receives a duct from seminal vesicle. Okay, this seminal vesicle and vas deferens then continues as a common ejaculatory duct. Okay, इन ये दोनों डक्ट एक कॉमन डक्ट फॉर्म करती है जिसका नाम है द कॉमन एजैकुलेटरी डक्ट. ये कहाँ ओपन होगी? इट विल ओपन इनटू द यूरेथ्रा. Okay, this will open into urethra as the common ejaculatory duct. What is the function of this duct? Function of this duct is it can see transport of sperm में तो काम आता ही है, because this is only the pathway of the sperms till like pathway of the sperms. Okay, that is from seminiferous tubule जहाँ से वो बन रहा है वहाँ से लेके बॉडी के बाहर तक का यही पाथवे है. ओके, क्या पाथवे है? ये सेमिनिफेरस ट्यूब्यूल से रेटे टेस्टिस से वैसा एफ्रेंशिया, वहाँ से एपिडिडाइमिस, देन एपिडिडाइमिस से वैस डिफरेंस, देन सेमाइनल वेसिकल के साथ एक कॉमन डक्ट बनाना which is known as common ejaculatory duct, which opens into the urethra, and urethra as it's also known as urinogenital duct means वो यूरिन और स्पर्म्स दोनों को पास करने में हेल्प करती है. तो वहाँ से ही वो यूरेथ्रल मीटर्स, दैट इज द ओपनिंग ऑफ द यूरेथ्रा से वो बाहर आएगा स्पर्म. ओके, so that was the pathway of the sperm. Yes, so wherever we were on कि ये कॉमन एजैकुलेटरी डक्ट का वो क्या है, फंक्शन क्या है. ट्रांसपोर्ट में तो काम आता है. इट्स ऑल्सो यूज फॉर स्टोरिंग ऑफ स्पर्म्स. ओके, okay, then what happens after that? The urethra originates from the urinary bladder. This opens, this common duct opens into the urethra, and urethra extends from urinary bladder. Okay, after that it extends through the penis, okay, to its external opening which is known as urethral meatus. So that was all about it. So this was in general the ducts involved and the pathway of the sperms. Now we have the external genitalia. The part left is external genitalia. So the penis is the male external genitalia. It is made up of special kind of tissues. Okay, which helps in erection. So that is erectile tissue से वो बना है, इरेक्शन में मदद करता है. ये इरेक्शन क्यों इम्पॉर्टेंट है? ताकि जो इंसेमिनेशन है, इंसेमिनेशन दैट इज़ द ट्रांसफ़र ऑफ स्पर्म्स ईजिली हो सके. ठीक है. In penis there is an enlarged part at the bottom which is known as glans penis, and it is covered by a loose fold of skin which is called foreskin. Okay. After that, see, now what all we studied? We studied about testes, we studied about uh, ducts, we studied about the external genitalia. Now we are left with the male accessory glands. So what are the glands? See, first gland is seminal vesicle, which comes in the pathway of the sperms. Okay. After that, on the external, like on the penis, okay, there is a prostate gland, which is a single gland. Below it there are two p-shaped or p-shaped or p-like glands, which are known as bulbourethral glands. They are very tiny and round and are present in pairs. Okay. Now the secretion of these all glands, that is the seminal vesicle, prostate gland and bulbourethral gland, together forms seminal vesicle. Sorry, not seminal vesicle, seminal plasma. Okay, this contains calcium, fructose, and some enzymes. Okay. Then the secretion of bulbourethral gland has one another function, that is the lubrication. The secretion of bulbourethral gland helps in lubrication of the penis. So that's all about it. So we are done with the male reproductive system. Now the next topic is the female reproductive system. Okay, so what all parts does the female reproductive system consists of? Okay, so the female reproductive system consists of a pair of ovaries. Like in male reproductive system there was a pair of testes. Here we have the pair of ovaries. Okay, and with it we also have a pair of oviducts. Okay, oviducts are also known as fallopian tube. We have cervix, vagina, uterus, and an external genitalia. Okay, now the location, yes, external genitalia is also located on the pelvic region. So again the locations are important. Then these all parts along with the mammary glands, okay, makes a fully functional female reproductive system, and this helps females during pregnancy, childbirth, development of the child. Okay, and also after the childbirth it also helps in child care. Okay. Now in this female reproductive system the ovaries are the primary sex organs. Now what is the meaning of primary sex organs and secondary sex organs? Primary sex organs means they release hormones as well as they also helps in reproduction. These are the primary sex organs. Okay, so ovaries here are the primary sex organs. Okay, and what is the function of ovary? Inside ovary the female gametes are produced. Like in testes male gametes were being produced, here in ovaries the female gametes are being produced, and also some of the hormones are also produced because it's a primary sex organ. So ovarian hormone, that is the uh, estrogen and the progesterone are also formed. These ovaries are located on each side of the lower abdomen. These ovaries are located on the each side, means it's a pair. So each ovary, each side of the abdomen, one ovary is present. The length of the ovary is about 2 to 4 centimeter. Okay, and it is connected to the pelvic wall and uterus, connected to the pelvic wall and uterus by a ligaments. Okay, now each ovary is covered by a thin epithelium, okay, which encloses the ovarian stroma. Now what is ovarian stroma? अगर आप ओवरी का क्रॉस सेक्शन कट करो, ओके, क्रॉस सेक्शन, हाँ, क्रॉस सेक्शन अगर आप कट करो ओवरी का, सो व्हाट यू विल सी, आप ओवरी के अंदर देखोगे, ठीक है। तो ओवरी के बाहर एक लाइन है एंड उसके अंदर जो स्पेस है ना, दैट इज स्ट्रोमा। उसके स्ट्रोमा के अंदर जो सब लाइक ओवरी के जो अंदर का जो होता है, जैसे कि गैमेट्स है एंड फॉलिकल्स है, वो सब उसके अंदर होंगे, ठीक है। दिस ओवेरियन स्ट्रोमा इज डिवाइडेड इनटू टू पार्ट्स, विच इज this medulla and cortex. The peripheral one is known as cortex and the inner one is known as medulla. Okay, so that was about ovary. Now we have the oviducts, that is the fallopian tube. Okay, so the uterus, the oviducts, oviduct, that is fallopian tube, uterus and vagina. Uterus means where the child is there inside the mother's tummy, that is, its uterus is also known as womb. Okay, so जो womb बोलते हैं ना, that is the uterus. So the uterus and vagina constitute the female accessory ducts. Okay, so fallopian tube, uterus and vagina, these three parts constitute the female accessory ducts. Okay, each fallopian tube is about 10 to 12 centimeter long and extends from the periphery of the each ovary to the uterus. Periphery of the each ovary to the uterus. The part which is close to the ovary, it's like a funnel shaped and it's called infundibulum. Okay, this edges of the infundibulum possesses some finger like projections, ठीक है, villi जैसे finger like projection, which are known as fimbriae. What is the function of fimbriae? जो एग होता है, जो ओवम होता है, ओव्यूलेशन के बाद जो ओवम रहता है ना, उसे कलेक्ट करने के लिए these fimbriae are used. Okay, then this infundibulum, as we go towards the uterus, this infundibulum has some wider part which is known as ampulla. Then again ampulla leads to the last part of the oviduct, which is known as isthmus. Okay, now isthmus has a narrow gap which then directly joins to the uterus. So now we will study what is uterus. So uterus, as I told, is also called womb. The shape of uterus is like, जो पेयर आपका फ्रूट होता है ना, पेयर फ्रूट अगर आपने देखा हो, तो वो पेयर फ्रूट को अगर आप उल्टा करो, सो इट्स लाइक एन इन्वर्टेड पेयर फ्रूट शेप। उसको सपोर्ट कौन देता है? लिगामेंट्स। कौन से लिगामेंट्स? जो पैल्विक रीजन से अटैच्ड लिगामेंट्स रहती है वो। देन जो यूट्रस है वो कहाँ ओपन करती है? वजाइना में। किसके थ्रू? सर्विक्स के थ्रू, सॉरी, ठीक है। द कैविटी ऑफ द सर्विक्स इज कॉल्ड सर्वाइकल कैनाल, ठीक है। सर्वाइकल कैनाल अलॉन्ग विथ वजाइना इज कॉल्ड बर्थ कैनाल, ठीक है। द वॉल ऑफ द यूट्रस, जो यूट्रस की जो वॉल है उसमें 3 लेयर्स होते हैं, हैज़ 3 लेयर्स ऑफ टिश्यूज़। जो सबसे बाहरी लेयर है जो थिन है वो है मेम्ब्रेनियस पेरीमेट्रियम। मिडिल जो थिक लेयर है, जो स्मूथ लेयर है, दैट इज़ मायोमेट्रियम। एंड सबसे अंदर वाली जो ग्लैंडुलर लेयर है वो है ग्लैंडुलर लेयर, दैट इज़ एंडोमेट्रियम, दैट लाइन्स द यूट्राइन कैविटी, ठीक है। जो एंडोमेट्रियम है ना, उसमें सबसे ज़्यादा चेंजेस होते हैं पूरी फीमेल की लाइफ में, पूरी फीमेल की लाइफ में, यानी हर महीने उसमें चेंजेस होते हैं, ठीक है। वो बनती है, टूटती है, ड्यू टू मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल, अंडरगो साइक्लिक चेंज ड्यूरिंग द मेंस्ट्रुअल साइकिल। ठीक है। फिर जो मायोमेट्रियम जो है द मिडिल लेयर, उसमें क्या होता है, उसमें जब चाइल्ड बर्थ होता है तो विगरस कॉन्ट्रैक्शंस होते हैं इन मायोमेट्रियम, दैट इज द मिडिल लेयर। तो ये तो हो गए अंदर के पार्ट्स के बारे में हमने बात कर ली फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम में। नाउ वी विल टॉक अबाउट द एक्सटर्नल जेनिटेलिया एंड फीमेल रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम। तो एक्सटर्नल जेनिटेलिया में क्या क्या पार्ट्स है, देखो सबसे पहले मॉन्स प्यूबिस, लेबिया मेजोरा, लेबिया माइनोरा, hymen and clitoris. These are the 5 parts. Mons pubis क्या होता है, it's a layer of fatty tissues, ठीक है, cushion of fatty tissues and it's covered by hairs, pubic hairs, okay. Labia majora क्या होता है, a fleshy fold of tissue, fleshy fold of tissue which extend down from the, this I am reading from NCERT only, which extends down from the mons pubis, from the mons pubis, a fleshy fold of tissue called labia majora extends and surrounds the vaginal opening. Then labia minora are the pair folds of tissue under the labia majora. The opening of the vagina is often covered partially. Now the vaginal opening जो होते हैं ना वो partially covered होती है किससे, hymen से, hymen, ठीक है। उसके बाद मैं hymen के बारे में आपको आगे बाद में बताती हूँ, because as I am going as per NCERT, तो उसने बीच में क्लिटोरिस घुसाया है। तो क्लिटोरिस क्या है, क्लिटोरिस इज़ अ टाइनी फिंगर लाइक स्ट्रक्चर। वो कहाँ प्रेजेंट होता है, ये जो आपकी लेबिया माइनोरा है ना, उसका अपर जंक्शन जहाँ पे है वहाँ पे upper junction of the two labia minora, as I told you, above the urethral opening. So urethral opening भी होता है, vaginal opening भी होता है। urethral opening के ऊपर जो labia minora का junction है वहाँ पे clitoris present है, ठीक है। अब हाइमन, एज आई वाज टेलिंग यू, कि जो हाइमन होता है वो यूजुअली क्या होता है कि जो फर्स्ट कॉइटस होता है ना, फर्स्ट कॉइटस उसके टाइम, एट दैट टाइम जो हाइमन होता है वो ब्रेक हो सकता है, ठीक है। और एल्स देखो जैसे कि कोई एकदम से जर्क से कोई गिरा है, एकदम सडन फॉल हुआ है, जॉल्ट जिसे हम बोलते हैं जर्क, या फिर कोई फीमेल है जो रेगुलर स्पोर्ट्स में पार्टिसिपेट करती है, हॉर्स राइडिंग, लाइक हॉर्स राइडिंग और एनीथिंग, तो उस टाइम पे भी हाइमन ब्रेक हो सकता है। एंड कभी कभी ये भी होता है कि फर्स्ट क्वाइटिस के बाद भी हाइमन ब्रेक नहीं होता है। So in short, why this all information is given to make you understand that presence or absence of this hymen is not the correct, correct proof or the एकदम ऐसे दावेदार प्रूफ हम कह सकते हैं ऑफ द वर्जिनिटी, रिलायबल प्रूफ ऑफ द वर्जिनिटी नहीं होता है, ठीक है। आफ्टर दैट वी हैव द मेमोरी ग्लैंड्स।